Ending to the not the one-way perspective. Part 1 down below. A quick update. I'm going to add more later. I had another talk with my wife. It seems like she has been telling the truth. My wife gave me all her passwords to her social media accounts and emails. She even showed me the email she used to talk to Grandpa. It was her old school email. I didn't even think it was still active. I am looking at the emails, it backs up what she's be saying. I haven't read all the emails and I'm not ruling out she deleted some or something like. It's wait and see, I guess. She doesn't have a good reason for picking Grandpa. I asked her a couple times why him and all she would say was I don't know. I also asked her if it was her first and only affair. She was taken back by it but promised it was her first and only affair. I did ask for her phone, she did give up, but most of the app and text have been deleted. I asked about it, she told me it was because she used the phone to text Grandpa. For those wondering, she did admit to sending him pics via Snapchat. That app was deleted too. People were right. She had slept with the OM more than 5 times. While I was looking through the emails, I found 2 emails that show they meet way more than 5 times. How many more times I don't know, and at this point I don't care. I'm done with her, I want nothing to do with her. I give her a chance and she blow it. She clearly doesn't give crap about. And if that wasn't enough this morning, I got a pass ticket in NJ. Anybody wants to take a guess who lives in NJ? Yes, the Grandpa does. So, she drove my brand new car to go see her OM. I barely drive this car myself, it has less than 2,000. Yet she thinks it's fine to drive my car to go see her OM. I'm so done with her. Now my new plan is simple. 1. Find a I like lawyer. 2. File for divorce. 3. Go seize my accountant. 4. Expose the affair to Grandpa wife. 5. Prepare to move out. Trust me, I won't be telling her anything. She can find out about divorce when she's served. The reason I plan on moving out is because I don't want the house. I would be more than happy leaving it to her. I'm done with her. I don't need or want to know anything more about the affair. I've already decided I want a divorce. I don't care when the affair started, ended, if she screwed him 50 times or if she was the one who ended it. I'm done with gathering more evidence. I have more than enough to prove the affair. Besides, she's a proven liar. No point in asking her more questions knowing she's going to lie. I already made appointments with 3 lawyers, 1 on Thursday and 2 Friday. I wanted to use the lawyer her parents used, but I was scared he might tip her off. I don't remember who said it, but I've taken pictures and printouts of all your bank account as of yesterday. We don't have any joint credit cards, so that isn't a problem. I can't prove she did anything with the tattoo boss, and I don't think she did, but what do I know? I talked BMW, asked them about, they sent me over to a tech who walked me through how to set up my account online to view my car's every location and date, time it was there. I don't plan on moving out until my lawyer gives me the okay. Until then, I'm not going anywhere. My comment: while I am sorry you are where you are now, I want you to think about this. The information you know is leverage in this divorce. While this may sound cold, I just want to make sure you don't lose out in a divorce. You can make things bad for her and him in this. You can use that knowledge to go to his wife, to HR, and both could use their jobs. You can use this to make her sign a deal that makes you much more positive than her. And she will sign it if it spares her and his shame at work. Again, cold but methodical. Also have her served at work. OP responds: the only person above the OM is the CEO. Before I do anything at work, I want to talk to my boss. My boss is one of my best friends since college, and it's his dad's company. I'm also really close with his dad too. A lot of what I've been able to do is because of him. About 10 years ago, one of my family's business lease was up. Our landlord refused to extend a lease he wanted to sell. My parents did not want to buy the property, they felt it was overpriced. At the time I was finishing my senior year in college. I wanted to buy property, but I was broke. I talked to my friend's dad, we agreed he would give me a personal loan. That loan set the foundation for everything I built. That's the big reason why I don't want to expose the affair without talking to them first and let them decide the best way to handle this. I want to keep the damage to a minimum. It's the least I can do after everything they've done for me. About the house, my plan is to let her keep our current house if she lets me keep the house we have in Eastern Long Island. I haven't talked about it to a lawyer yet. I'm going to wait and see what they say. My daughter, she mine, no matter what she will always be mine. True, and all of them are way overpaid. Things are kind of tense at home. My wife is starting to get desperate. She constantly asking if everything okay and begging me talk to her. She has given me her detailed timeline. I haven't bothered to read it. I started ignoring her so she knows something's up, but I don't really care what she thinks. She's definitely still looking R. I'm angry with tunnel vision. Well, he's the majority stockholder. The grandpa probably feels like he can't be touched since he helped us friend become the CEO. The plan was for my friend to replace his dad, but 2 years ago his dad started to suffer from health problems, which forced him to set down. Once he left office, politics started to happen. Let me clear something up. The Grandpa OM isn't the majority shareholder. What I meant to say was my friend's dad is the majority shareholder. My wife tried to initiate bonding tonight. She told me she was leaving work early. I didn't know why and didn't bother to ask. I come home, she has my favorite food read and is dressed to nines. My daughter was home and looked happy. I tried to pretend everything was okay for her. After dinner, my wife goes to put our daughter to bed. I was in the living room watching basketball game. She comes down and starts making physical advances. A part me really wanted to. My wife in my eyes is still one of the prettiest women you will ever see. It was like the closer she got, the only thing I could see was that old guy. I got up and pushed her way and locked myself in the guest bedroom. Now I have mind movies playing in my head. I'm doing all right given everything that has happened. I meet with my first lawyer. I definitely will not be using him. He spent 30 minutes telling me how screwed I am. Like no crap, that's why I'm here. I wouldn't willing to pay you if I wasn't. Hopefully one of the two I see today will be better. My wife is getting really desperate now. Last night while I was in my home office, she came in asking if we could talk. I continued to ignore her. Once she realized I wasn't listening, she literally started to beg and cry. At one point she was on her knees. I started to feel uncomfortable. I went to guest room to go sleep. She followed me. I obviously wouldn't let her, and so she slept on the floor by the door. If didn't know better, I would think she was truly remorseful. Whether or not she is remorseful isn't something I'm worried about at this point. That's furthest thing from my mind right now. I gave her a chance to show me we could work through this together, and she blew it. She decided to continue lie and deceive me. We all know how that saying goes, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. I will not give her another chance to make me her fool again. As of now, the only option I see is divorce. This marriage is done. The only thing keeping it together is a piece of paper. Friday, I meet with 2 more attorneys. Both were much better than the first one I meet with Thursday. Both attorneys gave me similar advice that if my wife was open to it, mediation was the way to go. It's the fastest and less expensive way to get a divorce. I haven't decided what to do yet. I will have to talk to my wife and see if we can figure this out without spending thousands in legal fees. My plan is to file for divorce on Wednesday. I haven't talked to my friend, my boss, yet. He's been on vacation. He doesn't come back till Tuesday. I haven't told anything yet. I did tell him I needed to talk to when he gets back. My wife hasn't really done anything this weekend. For the most part, she has left me alone. She did leave a couple of letters in my room. Haven't read them and probably won't. Don't see the point. I don't care what she has to say. There was a period of week where I did not know what to do. During that time, gave her a chance to make her case. Gave her the time to talk to me, show me and convince me we could make this work. I was open to salvaging this marriage. She chose to lie. What more of a chance does she want? Me on my hands and knees begging, cause that's now not happening. I might be scared of being pulled into trying to reconcile again. I see the best way to prevent anything like that from happening is to avoid the whole situation of emotion and handle this as any other business transition. The only thing that matter are the facts and numbers. I know she's taken at least 1 trip to Jersey. I can't confirm it was to visit the OM, but it's most likely the case. She also drove the car during the Valentine's week. I was out of town. I don't know what she did while I was gone. I plan to take the car back to the dealer. No way in hell I'm ever going to drive that car again. All of this set me off. She was the one complaining about the car when I bought the car, but yet she drove the car more than me. I meet with my friend. We agreed that the OM has to go. The both of us are going to meet with his dad tomorrow to figure out the best way to handle this. The both of us would like to keep the exposure to a minimum. My friend right now is looking into if the other man has had other office affairs. My friend has heard of a couple of rumors before. I think we all know he probably has. Today I found out that my wife handed in her 2 weeks' notice. This will be her last week at work. I didn't know until my friend found out a couple of hours ago. I plan to be talking with my wife later tonight. This doesn't really change anything in my eyes. I still want a divorce. Depending on how the talk goes, I might read the letters. I talked to my wife last night. I think it was somewhat of a productive talk. Before I had the talk with my wife, I read the letters she gave me. It was 2 letters. The first one was mostly a sorry, why she thinks she had an affair and begging for a second chance. Second letter was more of a layout of her plan for reconciliation. Quitting her job, it was part of that plan. She also put another timeline and admitted to lying on the first one. She does sound remorseful. I believe she's always been remorseful from the start. I think at first, she was in shock and didn't know what to do and listened to others who didn't understand the kind of damage she caused. Toxic friend. She doesn't seem to care about Grandpa anymore. I told her he might be getting fired and she didn't care. She was more worried about us. I didn't really change my mind. I still want a divorce. I told her as much. I tried to talk about the divorce, but she was crying nonstop, asking what she could do to prevent the divorce. We couldn't really talk in detail because of that. She did, however, send me text asking me to take the rest of the week to really think about it, and if a divorce is still what I wanted, she could have her parents' lawyer write up a fair settlement. I did talk to my friend's dad. The OM is pretty much done. My friend's dad wants to keep this quiet. He's going to ask him to leave and resign on his own. If he doesn't, he's going to force him to do so. The plan is still to go through with the divorce. I've talked to lawyer. She agrees with having her lawyer write up the settlement, and I can send to her or another lawyer to revise it or add any changes. My lawyer's reason is it could save us a lot of time, money, and I could potentially protect most of my assets. Simply having a wife willing to work on a divorce makes simpler and less expensive compared to one that's fighting you for every little thing. The According to my wife, the OM started paying extra attention to her last spring. He started first with complimenting her work. It turned more personal with him telling her he liked how she dressed or how she did her hair that day. The other man with time became her confidant. Around August they became very close, and in September the physical aspect of the affair started. During this time my wife felt she needed the OM for attention and validation. I haven't looked at the timeline, only a quick glance. I don't really care, mostly because I still don't believe her. She claims they only meet for bonding 8 times and it was regrettable. I can't prove or disprove any of it. I plan on contacting the OM wife today or tomorrow. I've talked to my wife over the weekend and last night. We both have agreed to getting a divorce. My wife is still against it and wants to try to save our marriage before getting a divorce. I feel it's too late to. We wrote up an outline of settlement. The plan is she takes that outline to her lawyer. We meet with her lawyer sometime this week or next and discuss the divorce. He writes up the agreement, I take it to my lawyer, have her check to be sure. One of us has to file after. It's a waiting game. I've also started to making plans to move out. I know my wife isn't happy about it, but it's all her doing, not mine. As for the grandpa OM, no word yet. My understanding was he was supposed to resign yesterday. As of now he hasn't. I'm going to figure out what's going with that later today. I haven't contacted the OM wife yet. I want to do that today. I still haven't figured out how to contact her. The PI was able to get her work number, email, and what we believe is her personal cell phone. My plan was to send her an email with my contact info. I sent the OMW an email yesterday. I sent it her work email. It was short and to the point. I left my contact info. I haven't received a reply yet. I talked to my friend's dad. Apparently, the OM is until Friday. I haven't been exercising. I've been eating like crap for the last 2 months, mostly fast food and junk food. I know I must start taking care of myself right now, I'm just not motivated to. In the letter she gave me, it said she was going to seek counseling. We haven't really discussed any of her issues and I don't think we will. I hope she gets help for those issues, but at this moment I'm not in a position to help her. She's going to have to figure it out on her own. I didn't end my marriage. My wife did that when she decided to screw another guy that's not her husband. My daughter is the real loser in all of this. It doesn't matter what I do, she's going to suffer. This isn't the life I wanted for her. It probably causes me the most pain knowing one thing she would probably want more than anything is something I will never be able to provide her with. As for custody, we will doing alternating week schedule we found online. It's 50-50. I will have my daughter 1 week and my wife will have the following week. This will change once she starts school. Once she starts school, we will have to figure out how to make it work. The last thing I want to happen is me becoming a weekend dad. I have about 100 posts and I've mentioned the car maybe twice. I have my priorities straight. I don't need you or anyone else to tell me how to handle my business. My daughter has and will always be my one priority. As for the OM, I hope he rots in hell and he gets hit by karma bus, but I won't be the one driving that bus. I know I have to stop eating junk. I think a reason why I'm eating junk is to piss my wife off. I know she hates the fact I'm eating Burger King every other day. My wife is kind of health nut, so her knowing I'm eating junk all is killing her. I know it's childish, but it helps me cope with everything. My parents and brothers know I'm getting a divorce, but none of them know the reason why. My friend and my sister are the only people besides you guys that know the full story. We still have to figure out how the holidays will work and what kind of schedule we will have once our daughter starts school. A lot of this will depend on whether or not my wife moves. She won't be leaving the state. My wife is still trying to figure out what she wants to do, what to do career-wise. She really isn't that interested in working in the corporate world anymore. She wants to try real estate. Whatever she decided to do will determine where she moves. The OM was the aggressor. He knew what buttons to press. My wife claims she never found him attractive, but he was someone she looked up to and respected. She kind of lost it. Someone like him started paying her attention. The other man made her feel special and beautiful. She hasn't told me, but I think it's her daddy, mommy issues. I think most posters can see that. I don't think she's a bad person, maybe broken. Kind of like her parents, neither one is a bad person, but they definitely have their own issues. The first time around, the other man was the one who ended the affair. He was the one who restarted the affair. My wife was the one who ended the affair the last time. Her reason for ending affair was because even though she loved the other man, she wasn't in love with him and felt she was becoming too involved. Don't ask me to explain that one because I understand what she means. A major setback. I've been trying implement the 180 to help me detach. I kind failed it last night. My wife made homemade pizza for dinner. It's my daughter's favorite. We really haven't eaten as a family since D-Day. I was in my office doing some work. My daughter comes asking me to come have pizza with her. I had dinner with them after we went to the upstairs living room and watched a couple of movies. Halfway through the second movie, our daughter fell asleep. My wife and I picked up our daughter and took her to her bedroom. My wife and I went back to living room. We talked and joked around. It eventually led to us sleeping together for first time since D-Day in the living room, and then we went to her bedroom. We also spent the night together for first time since D-Day. I promised myself I wouldn't let this happen. I think I was on the way to becoming complete detached and indifferent. Now I don't know what to think. and confused now than before. No other man didn't resign. I don't even want to know what's going to happen to him now. The OM is gone. I'm good if I want to stay. My friend already called telling I have nothing to worry about. His dad only wanted to do right by the OM since he's been with the company for 15 plus years. Besides, even if it did come down between me or him, it would be me. I'd bring in more money than he ever with. As for my wife, we talked after it happened. I tried to make it clear I still wanted the divorce. She seemed to understand that. In reality, this isn't as clear-cut anymore. Maybe it shouldn't change anything, but it has. I really need to move out of S&P. I trust my brain over my heart, so it is. It makes the most sense right now. My wife and I are still sleeping together and sleeping in the same bed. Originally, it was our old bedroom, but now it's in the room I moved into. I have been telling myself I'm going to stop, but I can't control myself around her. It doesn't help that the bonding is some of the best we have ever had, and every time I come home, she looks hot. I don't think I'm using her for bonding. I do feel somewhat guilty about it since I still plan is still going through with D, and my wife knows it. It doesn't seem to bother her. Maybe it does and just isn't saying anything. I want to stop, but like I said at heart, I still love her. She was the first woman I have ever loved. She was my first real girlfriend, not someone I just slept with. My wife is on birth control and we have started using protection again. She wasn't happy about that. The other man has been fired. His friend the CEO did the honors. The best part is no one knows I had anything to do with it. Apparently not even the other man. My friend has told me he had multiply warning for inappropriate behavior or language, but he doesn't know anything besides that. My friend and I are planning to meet with his dad to watch the game later. I'm going to ask him for the full story about other man. I'm in no way, shape, or form am I supporting my wife. She's on her own. The only I help is when it comes to our daughter. I agree bonding is making things blurry. Nothing is as clear as it was a week ago. I sent an email to his wife but never received a reply from her. Last part I think is a little unfair to my wife. We've always had a great physical life, that's never been a problem. The bonding we are having now is more intense and I've been more aggressive lately, which I think turns her on. That's what she says. Okay, divorce is going to happen. It's done for the most part. Her lawyer is writing up settlement papers. Once my wife receives the settlement from her lawyer, I'm sending it to my lawyer. My lawyer going to look it over, and if everything is what we agreed to, then it's only a waiting game to have the judge sign off, and that's it, we are done. And my lawyer has already told me once I agree to settlement I can move out. I've done what I can to protect myself and my daughter. My wife has made the divorce as easy as it can be. Maybe I'm being naive, but I think some posts about my wife aren't fair. She never used bonding to get ahead or for promotion. It doesn't change what she did or makes it better, but to call her a master manipulator is a little much, and I don't view us sleeping together as her manipulating me. I know what she is trying to do and what she wants. She doesn't want a divorce, she wants us to stay together. Why am I even letting her try is the question. Our company has a 3-strike rule, 3 warnings from HR and you are fired. Well, it turns out from 2008 to 2015 he had 2 warnings about his behavior. From 2015 till now he has 7 warnings. He should have been fired a long time ago, but his friend was protecting him. Once my friend's dad, let's call him boss man, found out it was a done deal. He wasn't having him work for his company. His friend, who's the CEO, is also in deep crap now. The board has started an investigation into what kind of behavior he was ignoring. Apparently, things have gotten pretty bad. The investigation just started, so I don't know too much about it, but it looks bad. It looks like CEO and Grandpa created a toxic work environment. I think most of you have figured that out already. Big update. I've been good given everything that has taken place over the last couple of months. I've tried to keep myself busy. I started a new construction project. It's keeping me busy and my mind off everything that's been going on. My STB ex-wife and I have officially separated. I moved out around the middle of May after I was given the okay from my lawyer. My STB ex-wife did try to make the move difficult with all the waterworks and what I believe was emotional manipulation from her. Even though she denies it, she used our daughter to get me to stay. My STB ex-wife stayed and probably will stay in the family home. Unless she is no longer able to afford it or something, but that won't be my problem. I thought moving out would make going through this process easier, but it's quite the opposite. Part me miss her more now. I find myself constantly checking her Instagram or Twitter. Since she lost her job, she's been going to the gym like crazy and it's starting to show. Plus, with all the free time she has, she's been doing fun activities with our daughter. Most of her Insta posts are of her looking the best she has in years or something fun she's doing with our daughter. It makes somewhat envious and jealous of the way she's living compared to me. Everything seems to have worked for her, while I on the other hand have gained about 30 pounds. And I rarely see my daughter as much as I would like to. When I do see her, we usually don't have the time to do fun things she gets to do with her mommy. This is probably my fault than my STB ex-wife. A divorce is in the works. My lawyer is telling me it should be around 3 to 4 more months. After that I will be officially single. We worked out a fair agreement for our daughter. I have your daughter 1 week and my STB ex-wife as her following week. She's been pretty good when it comes to sharing custody of our daughter and the divorce in general. My STB ex-wife understands that I am busy and tries to help with our daughter as much as possible. My lawyer believes it's because my STB ex still wants to try to reconcile. My lawyer is probably right. I'm playing it nice but making it clear that I'm done. I did slip up once during Memorial Day weekend, but since then it's been strictly business. I plan to keep it that way. I can't remember the last time I actually made myself a home-cooked meal. I've been living off fast food for the last 3 months. That somewhat needs to change ASAP. The same way she is paying her mortgage, car payment, cell phone bill, her daddy's money. My STB ex started working as her dad's property manager. I don't know how much she actually does, but I'm guessing very little. But she must be getting paid pretty good given the fact that she didn't even ask for child support. But like I said, it's not my problem. Her financial situation is her problem. I have more than enough problems. The last thing I need to do is worry about hers unless they have a direct effect on my daughter. The last part is something that worries me. Although we have 50-50 custody, my STB ex spends more time with our daughter. Over the last 2 months I've realized that I am not the father that I thought I was. A good father would be able to make time to spend with his kids. Yet here I am constantly finding time for everything else but not my daughter. My STB ex-wife was the one that made spending family time a priority, not me. It's something that I have to change for me and my daughter. My STB ex was crappy wife, but she is a great mother. One of my best friends who happens to be a psychologist told me to be careful with her. That people like my wife develop manipulative side. My wife knows me better than most. The way she's acting is like her. She isn't that agreeable or someone who easily expects things. The question is if she is doing is because it's the best way to get what she wants or because she's truly sorry. Does she real love me or does she only want back together to avoid a negative stigma of being a divorced single mother and cheater? What has happened to Grandpa and the old CEO? Grandpa other man was fired. I haven't contacted his wife, but last I heard she was going to divorce him. I don't know why or if she knows what he's been doing. I probably will be contacting her after my divorce is over. The only reason I haven't is because I've been advised my attorney not to do so until the divorce is finalized. After the divorce is done, I promise you I will make it my life's mission to destroy him and his life for what he's done to me and my little girl. As for the CEO, he's still working, but he isn't the CEO anymore. We can call him Jay. He's been moved to advising role. The only reason he's staying on is because his track record and reputation is still pretty good. Honestly, the guy is not a bad guy. He just isn't cut out to be the top guy. He let his friend, Grandpa Otherman, create a toxic work environment. He ran his department like it was a frat house. Some of the stories I'm hearing is crazy. The whole department was filled with liars and cheaters. It's insane what was going on. Even Jay himself didn't know half of what was going on. It's a huge mess. HR department is making everyone in a management position take a mandatory workplace harassment training program. I spent 3 days relearning things that I learned in preschool and kindergarten. It was a waste of time, but I understand it. If everything goes as planned by September, I should be official single. Update: September 12th is the date. I will be officially divorced. I found out Monday. I'm feeling very dejected at the moment. I wasn't expecting to feel this way. It's like everything is coming into focus. All the plans and dreams I had, the thoughts of growing our little family and thoughts of growing old with each other are all gone. None of this is what I asked for or wanted. I was happy. Was my marriage perfect? No. Was I perfect? No. I know living and dealing with me can be difficult, but I was willing to do anything to fix any problems we might have had. My wife and daughter were my #1 priority. Everything I did was for them. Yet here I am facing a divorce that was never in my plans or wanted. Learning and trying to start all over and learning I'm going to have to deal with a set of new problems. And for what my wife still claims to love and would do anything to repair damage. Now after everything that has happened, she's asking for us to talk things out and to try counseling. Yet where was all of this when she decided to replace me? My comment: I still believe that you should divorce her as well. After that it's up to you. Go on a few dates and see what you feel. Date your ex as well if she wants. But if she dates others, then you know she isn't serious about fixing the relationship. Before I get blasted, Steve's ex is the one that cheated and should do all the heavy lifting on that part. Steve needs to date others to see if he can form any connection with another lady. Steve's STB ex needs to prove she can be faithful to Steve as he figures out if he can build a relationship with her after the divorce. If he wants to, that is. If she is faithful after the divorce, then I would say that she really is in love with you, Steve. All the remorse and tears are real. All the chasing you is because she is in love with you. If she starts dating, then I would say that she loves you in a way but would have cheated again. Get some help for the depression. Anyone can see that you are about to run into problems. Yes, your wife will go for full custody if you don't start holding up your end. No doubt, if only to put you in a bind financially with child support. You're already in a bind. OP responds: I've never been a fan of counseling. Too many things need to go right for it to effective. Finding a good therapist is almost impossible, and without one, therapy is useless. I'm going to think about it. One of my friends is a licensed therapist. I'm probably going to see her. I would rather talk to her than a stranger, just to see what she thinks. My problem isn't with my wife. I know I can be fine without her. I was before her and I will be good after her. My issues come into play with the consequences of her actions will have on me and my daughter. The challenge is my daughter doing to have to face just because her mother couldn't keep her legs close. That really pissed me off. At this point I could care less about any changes might have made or is making. The last time we had any conversation that wasn't about our daughter was around mid-July. Since then, most of our interaction have all been about business. She better regret what she did. Because of hers, a little girl is losing out on what could have been a great life. I don't have any interest or looking to R at this point. All I want is to be done with her. My comment. His final few posts were concise, to the point, and didn't sound like he was regretting the decision to D. To me, he seems like the kind of guy that if he had stayed, he'd mentally drain himself for months obsessing over her before he finally pulled the D trigger.